Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today on this video I'll be sharing with you tips that I use when making chapatis, the tips that help me to make the best chapatis always. Like you can see on this video, the chapatis that I made today are looking awesome. They are so soft and I love them. So I decided to share this video with you guys. Also, if you have any tips that you use when making chapatis, let me know in the comment section and I will be trying them out as well. So let's begin. My first tip to having the best chapatis is to always make sure that your ingredients are well measured. Like in this recipe, I will be using 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Like you can see, I have already measured that and transferred them to a larger bowl. When it comes to seasoning the chapatis, you can use your measurements and whatever you like. In my case, I like to add 2 tablespoons of sugar and half a tablespoon of salt. Then I give that a very good mix. The next tip is to always add oil to the flour before making the chapati dough, and in my case I like to use hot oil and then I add it to the flour. In today's video I used warm oil. It was not super hot. I had heated it up, but it was getting cold by the time I was making the chapatis. And then just mix the oil into the flour. Like you can see, first I go in with a wooden muiko, and then after that I go into rubbing the flour and the oil together using my hands. My next tip, guys, is to always use hot milk or hot water when making chapatis. In today's video I decided to use 1 cup of hot milk. If you're using 2 cups of flour, use 1 cup of milk or water, and you can use that to measure your ingredients in the future, and then just give that a good mix. Also, when adding the milk, I do add it in batches, like continuously. I don't add it all at once. Yeah, and then after mixing that with the muiko, I just go in with my hands to now make the chapati dough. The idea is to have a very soft dough before making the chapatis, as that will determine whether your chapatis will be hard or soft. Like you can see, the dough is ready at this minute. I'm not sure if you can tell from the video, but by just touching it, you can tell a soft dough. Yeah, and then after that I let it rest for 40 to 50 minutes. I did not have that footage where I covered the dough and let it rest for 40 minutes, but after resting for 40 minutes, it's now time to layer the chapatis. And this is a simple recipe, so I'm not going to complicate the layering process. I'm just going to roll out the dough as one big that. Don't mind the shape at this point, it doesn't matter really. You just have to roll it out and then apply not too much oil. Yeah, and then you can spread that with a pastry brush, or you can even use a spoon. You can layer your chapatis by cutting them into smaller balls, rolling them, applying oil, and then rolling them again. It's also another method that you can use, but I find this one the easiest for a person that makes chapatis often. So I don't like to do the longer process of making the layers in the chapatis. And after spreading the oil, the next step will be to cut the dough like that, depending on the size that you would like your chapatis to be. Yeah, like you can see how I've cut them. So this is my tip, that layering chapatis always makes them super soft, and this is how it looks like after folding the chapatis. Just set it aside like that, and then you're going to repeat that same process to the other strips that you cut. And after rolling the chapatis out, the next thing to do is to roll each ball, ready now to fry. You can see on the on the chapati that I'm rolling. The layers can be seen where I had folded it. Just roll that and do not stress if you do not get a perfect round shape. You'll get better with time. Besides, even me, when I make chapatis, despite the fact that I have made them for a longer time now, they still, sometimes I don't get a perfect round shape. The next tip is to always have a pan that is hot before starting to cook your chapatis. And then you're just going to cook them on medium flame. Remember, your pan must be very hot. Also, I find that using this heavy, thick pan helps a lot, because I can compare the chapatis that I've made with the light pan and this pan, and the ones that I've made with this thick pan always comes out better. And at this point, you do not want to add cooking fat to the chapatis. You just want them to turn whitish, like you can see on the video. And then you're just going to remove them from the pan. And then you can put them in a plate or whatever you are using. Repeat that to the other chapatis. And this is how they look after doing that. Do not add any cooking fat first. Yeah, so that is how my chapatis are looking at this point. So my next tip, guys, is to always use cooking fat that is yellow in color. Okay, you do not have to use the yellow cooking fat. You can use cooking oil, but in my case, I always find that the yellow cooking fat works for me. The chapatis come out really golden brown, and I love them like that. You can also use the liquid cooking oil if you like, but I like the yellow cooking fats, any type, from any company. I just love them. And then using another chapati, I just help to roll and press down the chapati that I have already started cooking. Also, if you do not like to place a chapati on another chapati when cooking, you can use a serviette, and like you can see, my first chapati is already cooked on one side. Turn to the other side and cook them the same way. A serviette comes in handy when the second chapati starts to get hot and you can't withstand the heat. And the first chapati is ready. Repeat the same process to the other chapatis. Guys, like you can see, they are looking nice. The first chapati is looking nice. Repeat that to the other chapatis. I already did that. Like you can see, they are ready. So my next tip, guys, and this is, I think, the final tip, is to always wrap your chapatis after cooking. Wrap them in aluminum foil and then put them in a hot pot. Yeah, I always do this after cooking the chapatis for them to, I don't know what happens, because they gain more moisture when I do this and they become extra soft. Yeah, just somehow wrap the chapatis in aluminum foil and put them in a hot pot before serving them, because they tend to become very, very super soft. Yeah, and after that, just leave them for 20 to 30 minutes and serve them with your favorite stew. Like you can see, they are looking nice, guys, and I enjoyed so much sharing this recipe with you guys. I hope you try out.